Alright, so I was gonna record this video earlier and I was like super energetic and stuff, and now it's really late at night and now I'm really tired, so now we're gonna record this video. But hey guys, what's up? It's iFlynn here, and welcome back to another episode of Warframe playing like a pro. And in today's video we're taking a look at the Orthos Prime. Yeah, so I'm really tired right now, I have no idea why, but you know what? It's probably because it's late at night. Why did I say that I have no idea why whenever I know the reason why? You know, let's just do the video. This is the Orthos Prime. It's a pretty cool weapon. It kills things. It's mainly slash damage, and it's got a very long range. It's a very good quick melee weapon, and what I mean by that is, you know, you can have your Soma Prime out. So if I go ahead and put on a weapon, okay, there we go. We put on a weapon, and you just press E, and that's what I mean by quick melee, okay? So, you know, being in a stance, this is you being in a stance, and then, you know, quick melee, and it's whenever you have a weapon out, you can just press E. So that's the difference between stance combat, quick melee combat, whatever. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and unequip this Paris. I'd say I want to see the new skin, because yeah, it looks the exact same. Okay, that's not a problem. Whatever, I'm fine with that. It's just a different icon. They did update the skins for the Brat and then the later one stuff, so that's pretty interesting. I need to check that out later on, but yeah, so this is one of those weapons that you pretty much see everyone have. Everyone and their mother has this weapon, because it's like just one of those weapons that like everyone uses, because it's used to clear rooms really fast, and Warframe is a really fast-paced game. The reason that is because it's got very decent stats, and the range on top of that just complements it, and it's just like a signature weapon of Warframe, at least in my opinion. Like, this weapon's been around since like the beginning, and like, you know, everyone uses it. Like, if you don't use this weapon, if you don't have this weapon, then you're doing something wrong. But going ahead and showing you guys the builds. You know, we have obviously Prime Pressure Point for our damage, paired with Prime Fury. It's not a crit weapon by any means, but you can run a Blood Rush body count build on it, of course. Prime Reach for the reach, obviously, because that helps us out a lot. Life Strike here for your, obviously, your lifesteal, your sustain. That's what I like to call it, because I'm a MOBA noob now. Shocking Touch Fever Strike for your corrosive damage, and then Molten Impact for heat damage, and then you can either double up on your fire, or you can double up on your corrosive damage. And I usually do corrosive damage, so I'm going to go ahead and throw on another toxin element mod. So that's just a dual stat element right there. That's basically your build. Obviously, you can swap it around, go radiation and toxin, or you can go magnetic and toxin, so on and so forth. You can really do whatever. But this is like one of the staple builds. So if you just copy this build, then you're pretty much good to go. Or if you're going complete tryhard mode, you can do a Blood Rush body count. Although I don't recommend it on this weapon, because there's better weapons that you can do it with. It's possible. It's pretty much possible in any melee weapon, but you know, there's better weapons to do it with, and this is more of a quick melee weapon. So don't recommend going Blood Rush body count, because there's better weapons you can do it with. But demonstration on how you would use it. Now, this weapon, it's not that good on its own, but it's good on its own, if you get what I mean. What I mean by that is, you get a lot more use out of this weapon when you're using your Warframe abilities with it. So let's say, for example, we take in Loki, and we go invisible, right? Let's just copy our colors right here. So if we go invisible, we're going to get what is known as a stealth multiplier. And as you guys know, this weapon does not have a 100% crit chance. So just going to show you guys this right now. If we take a look at the critical chance right here, 10%, right? 10% crit chance. This does not mean that we're going to be critting every shot, okay? That's not what this is intended to show you guys. But if we go ahead and we spawn in, let's say, 20 heavy gunners, right? Let's go ahead and spawn them in, and we make them all level 135. Go ahead and do that. Spawn them in, and we go invisible. And then we run over and we start hitting these guys. You're going to see these yellow numbers pop up pretty much all the time. And the reason they're popping up is simply because we're invisible. And that's basically your stealth bonus, or your stealth multiplier, whatever you want to call it. It's basically just a multiplier that you get when you're invisible, or the enemy has undetected you. So you can go undetected bonus, stealth bonus, whatever, stealth multiplier, undetected multiplier, whatever the case may be. It's just basically amplified damage, because the enemy doesn't know where you are and you're attacking him from a location which the enemy obviously doesn't know that you're at. This does not mean that you're getting crit chance on top of your base damage. Just because the numbers are yellow doesn't necessarily mean that you are critting. It's just that stealth multiplier being applied. And I did have a comment before trying to say that, you know, a guy was testing out an Exalted Blade build. He had a status build compared to a crit build. And he was like, yeah, but my status build crits 100% of the time, so you don't need that crit build. And I was like, no, you're just invisible because you're stunning the enemy before you go ahead and hit him with your radio blind, you know? So, yeah, there's that there. That's the quick lesson on stealth multipliers, and that's why this weapon is pretty much insanely good and takes these enemies out pretty fast. Keep in mind, these guys are level 135. The Orthos Prime is mainly slash damage. Obviously, we have our corrosive and fire on there, which helps us out with our damage and stuff. But by no means is it like a weapon that is going to shred through enemy armor or anything like that there, because obviously you have your slash procs and things like that there, but it's got a 24% status chance, which isn't anything to sort of write the home about. But the reason that the weapon's so good is because it's very quick. It's got a very long range. Like if we were to come over here and we were to slide, we would still be... Okay, I just died. But if you were to like just basically slide over and over and over again, so let's go ahead and spawn in a few ancient healers or something. If we slide over and over and over again, you basically clear rooms like an absolute madman, because that's basically this weapon's intended purpose. A lot of people would use this here back in the day whenever cop drain was still a thing. Just go ahead and write a comment or leave a like in the video if you were around when cop drain was a thing in this game. But cop drain basically meant you would use your melee weapon to get from point A to point B. Based on the amount of attack speed that you had in your melee weapon determined like how fast you would get to a certain point. So weapons like the Dual Zorans, weapons like the Orthos Prime, whatever, anything that had a very fast attack speed, like the Thibodeau, for example, that was one of the fastest weapons in the game at the time, especially if you had like crit chance and stuff. A lot of people would be using that there just to copter around. They would be doing things like this here. So it was basically a combination of you sliding and then using your melee, and that would fling you from point A to point B, especially if you had something like Berserker on your Dual Zorans and you're proccing that, or your Dual Echoes, or whatever the case may be. You would just fling yourself from, like, I'm talking like from the first door of a Grineer, not a Grineer, but a Void defense tile set, all the way to the back where that big, like, glowy statue thing is. That's how far you would be able to fling yourself whenever coptering was a thing. And that's basically what people do with this weapon. They just slide and they melee to deal a lot of damage because of that prime reach mod that you have on. That's just going to slice through enemy mobs. And that's why it's used, because it kills them pretty quick. It kills a lot of enemies quick, and especially if you're playing Warframe in today's day and age, where, like, you know, the enemies aren't really going to scale up to like level 135, and they're all going to be like capped at like level 30 or 50 maximum. You know, the weapon is basically just going to shred through enemies, right? So if we were to go ahead and spawn in, like, that only took 3 hits to kill that level 135 charger right there. If we go ahead and spawn in like level 30 corrupted butchers or whatever, which is a very common mob that you would see in Void tile sets nowadays, I guess. Let's spawn in level 50, I guess. We spawn in level 50. And we just go ahead and slide through them while stealthed. Let's go ahead stealth. Let's go ahead slide through them. Whoops. Okay, I'm not sliding because I suck at the game. But yeah, they just die, you know? There's so many of them, they just die. See what I mean? You got that stealth bonus, so that's why this weapon is widely used. It just kills things very fast and like a lot. So people used to use this to farm their focus. They go with Invis Loki, they'd bring their Orthos Prime, they get the stealth kills, they'd farm that affinity bonus with the stealth kills and all that good stuff. Pretty awesome. So it's a very laid back, be super lazy weapon, at least in my opinion. You're going to get a lot of damage from that slide attack, like so, and just murder a lot of them. Like, these guys are level 50, so they have a decent amount of armor. Of course, they're only butchers and they're not the most threatening enemies in the game. But, you know, they're very common enemies is what I'm trying to get at here. And, yeah, this weapon is basically a common enemy killer, very good, fast melee weapon. All that good stuff, and that's basically what you use it for. If you're going any higher, if you're going like level 135 content, anything which will sort of need you to bring the best weapon possible. Obviously, the Orthos Prime isn't going to be your go-to choice, unless you don't plan on going into stance mode at all. Then in that case, I'd use something like the Legion or something. But, you know, Orthos is still a pretty good choice. In comparison to other melee weapons, this is probably one of the best polearm melee weapons that you can have. Besides the Legion, the Legion is probably a more damage dealing polearm, but it doesn't have the range of the Orthos Prime. So this is why the Orthos Prime is especially good in PvE content, because you can basically just slide through and kill an entire room with a few sweeps of the weapon. And then in PvP content, let's say in your clan dojo, you know, if you have that max prime reach on, your clanmates aren't going to be able to touch you. So, you know, I love this weapon for dojo PvP. It's pretty good. So yeah, final look at the build. Shimmering Blight is my stance mod. I formed this 3 times, 2 polarities and 1 dash, and it just allowed me to sort of fit everything on the way I wanted it. And I'll show you guys also the Blood Rush body count build if you happen to ever want to use that there. And yeah, that's pretty much going to be it for the video, guys. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit that like button below. I butchered that. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit that like button below. And want to see more Warframe content from me, hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.